potential railway.
It's looking back there from lots 1 through 10.
Yeah, run along the railway.
It was our understanding though that there's actually might be the potential for some expansion in that direction. When I had conversations with both Mike and Butch, that the other side of that, that there was potential for, based on the expanded sewer, that there would be potential on both that side and the south side for expansion.
Yeah, I need my opinion.
I was gonna say,
Well, and that's why, and then when I look at this and I try to envision, of course, as we look at planning for the future, and of course, that lot is, that development is gonna be part of what you see in our corridor in town, you know, how do we sell your community as people come into town. And I was just wondering, as you, and it's not that I don't envision this, it might be to me, maybe I'm speaking out of turn a little, I just see multifamily by the rail, I guess, to me. And I don't know if you guys have put any thought in that in your planning process, and I guess since you know that there was.
Yeah,
I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I would probably relook at that a little bit, but, you know, part of me is, again, I'm not, if you're in the 275 or less range,
Yeah.
the acceptability of having a less desirable attraction as your neighbor is
Yeah.
probably more acceptable, but I haven't went out and studied that, and I would too, because those are my investment dollars. If I'm gonna, you know, if I can flip it over, I might do that. But it's still, you still got multifamily dealing with the same noise and distractions as you do. So, I mean, I'm not here to argue either way, but I just say I'd probably look at that a little closer and make a final decision. And my tendency is to go, I'd rather have 11 families there that, I mean, I look at Brookings, I live in Brookings. If you go to Brookings, there's a railroad track that goes right through that. And there's a lot of homes that live along the railroad track, lots of them in their backyards there. And I personally haven't seen that it's impacted their values much, but again.
Yeah, it's just something to
Yeah.
consider, because we want
Yeah.
responsible growth, but we kind of would assume we see some accelerated growth, I guess.
Right.
So, you know, we just assume not to see lots through 1 through 11 sit vacant because of that. You know, it's just something to consider.
First of all, I'd have 6 homes on them.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty big investment. I'd want to make sure that I'm comfortable with, and, yeah. Yeah, I would have to study a little bit better. Unfortunately, it flows really nice the way it looks, but not that we couldn't modify it a little bit if we needed to. Again, that's part of the partnership, I think, approach.
Yeah. And you, of course, would have renderings of something similar that you bought, or you built for the apartment complexes, some architectural design stuff that we could take a peek at.
Yeah,
Because like I said, that's gonna be when you come to town, your guys' development will be the first thing I would see.
you're gonna see that later in the slides.
Yeah.
that,
Okay.
One of the property that went up in Millbank would be a similar property here, and I think you'd be very pleased to have that sitting on your main drag. But I was just gonna speak to the fact that the way that it's developed, we set it up so that it meets those critical needs first.
Yeah.
And it's actually, when I think about it, it's generationally organized, because, you know, it is gonna be right across the street from the school, so you're gonna have that piece across the street, but you're going to have young families, young professionals, and then that whole piece of whether it's workforce or aging in place housing right along there to start with. So it's, you know, it meets that critical need that's been identified through your survey and with your mayor. So it meets that and develops and goes back that way. So, you know, I think there are lots of communities that build along the rail if you think about it. So maybe not the most expensive lots, but certainly, you know, something that your community needs.
Yeah, and just to me, it's important to do the low impact multifamily, you know, especially we're a small community, so Jamie Van Hunt is a friend of mine, lives right across the street. So I gotta, and that's gonna be in his backyard, so I mean, that's part of my interest is to make sure that we're protecting everybody's property values, and that it would be something I'd want in my backyard, so I'm glad you brought a rendering of it, so we can take a peek at that.
When you get into your packet,
I don't know, so I'm just,
oh,
yeah, the packet.
I do, yeah. Yeah, great questions, great comments. Thanks. any more specific questions on the map, you think? And again, if we're the fortunate ones to be selected, you know, kind of a work in progress. I think we're close, but could be some tweaks and twacks here and there. We realize that and would appreciate that. If you go to slide 6, we're going to kind of step through this fairly quickly again. So we're just going through a visual here, how we see the process happening. Proposal review we're presenting, and there will be a development agreement coming out of this. Obviously, sign up on the master plan, phase details created and delivered, and TIF financing, the key part of this that has to be in place. Then the construction begins. Again, phase 1, we view that as really starting in the spring. If we're the ones that are getting the nod. So that's 6. If you go to 7, so these are some of the sites that we've just kind of picked up, and some of the brands that we've created over the years. I've been in the real estate business for approximately 35 years, and yeah, I've done a lot of senior living. The brand out in the West is called Peaceful Pines. We had a brand locally here called Greenleaf, which is bought out by Edgewood, which you see Edgewood there. Stony Brook Suites was a brand that I created. Put them up in here in Brookings. Greenleaf. Those are the last of the original Greenleafs up in Thief River Falls. Hawthorne Heights is it's a nice condominium project in here we just finished. Rosewood Apartments in Millbank is the one we were just getting ready to open there, 38-unit complex. And then we developed the 1 and 2 unit luxury apartments in Watertown, South Dakota. So yeah, we've got a lot of experience in developing and building, managing, financing, and try to keep everything, most of the resources internal. Our staff is, with everybody, we have about 80 to 85 employees now for our companies, and I'm the owner, so, yeah, well, thank you. No, boy, yeah, right.
Get it right.
Yeah, gotta get it right. So, you go to 8. We just wanted to give you a breadth of some of the other larger projects we're working on. Again, we like working in smaller communities, but you do have to have some other projects out there too. This is a large complex in Spearfish. We've acquired the land, and we're doing the master development. It's probably an $80 million complex that we're getting ready to break ground in the spring on. And huge assisted living, huge independent living. Yeah, townhome associations for 84 complexes there. Peaceful Pines is the brand for the higher care needs. Living Pines is the brand for the senior living needs. Next. And so this is another project in Rapid. We just acquired 40 acres, very similar concept. Obviously heavy in senior living out in Rapid. Yeah, this is about a $100 million project that we're working on. Acquired the land, we got the zoning approved, and we're just starting to develop the first phase of the breakout, which will break ground in the spring. So, nice projects. And then, marketing, that's the big gray area. How do you put your arms around what marketing is and it's all about? And you guys probably figured out I'm not an engineer, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a CPA. I'm a marketing guy. Always been a marketing guy. And so one of the first persons that I hired in my company, the first person, was a marketing person. She's still with me. And so I take marketing very, very, very seriously. That's why I was kind of climbing my way to the top of Daktronics. I was in charge of the national sales managers for marketing for sports divisions. So I helped build that brand from $5 million to a $500 million company. Kurt Box did real well. But along the way, I learned a lot about marketing, and we've got a great, great marketing team. They're young. They know social technology. I don't. Yeah, It's amazing what we drive through. We create our own websites, we create our own marketing packets, we create our own sales literature, whether it's to the bank or to people, the renters. We have visual tours that we create online. We track it through Google Analytics, Facebook Analytics. They're amazing what they do, and we approach marketing almost like you approach building. It's we lay out the process every year for every project. We populate it, we track it every week. We know exactly where we're at, what we're spending, and what the results are going to be. So we have a high degree that the product we create will be sold. Whether that product is an apartment, or whether that product is a townhome, or whether that product is an affordable housing area. We believe we create that product, we market properly at a fair price, we will have success, and we've demonstrated that over and over. Right now, our occupancy level of all of our apartments is over 98%, including our senior living. And we have a senior living complex in Rapid that has over 200 residents. So to keep a 95% occupancy out there, you know, amongst some of the giants, the Good Samaritans, the West Hills, you got to be good. And we think we've got a great, great marketing department that lives and breathes this stuff every day. So we're proud of that, and they're proud to be a part of that. So these are just some of their, I don't even understand it, right? They're Google Analytics that when we lay out these programs and we do the analysts, we got people that just analyze how we're doing, marketing the leads, where they come from, how to target market. And we don't spend a ton of money on traditional advertising, newspaper, and once in a while on Caroline out west, we create a brand awareness package there. But it's mainly driven through social media right now, and we're good at it. We're really good at it. And so, in your packet, if you ever get time, I'm really not going to take you through all this. We could actually link, they're so good, they could link this on, I could bring you to every one of our websites if you wanted to look at it. But if you're really bored, go to these websites, go to our Facebook pages, go to our Google searches, verify what I'm saying is real. And it's pretty impressive what we've done and how we do this. Again, very, very proud of that end result. I like marketing. Well, 12 slides. You made it. 12 days of Christmas.
Bobby, can you link to Rosewood?
Yeah, that would be a good one to, why don't you go to the website? Maybe this will take you. This is our Peaceful Pines website up in Rapid.
So Millbank is a community of about 3,200 people, and so while I was there, it seemed like housing was always an issue. So over the course of 5 years, we did a ton of things to try and figure out how we could solve that problem, and actually tried to work with several other developers and could just never get it to gel. So we were fortunate when we finally came across Kirk. We had done a housing survey, so we knew that housing was a need for us, but it was just hard to get a handle on it, and we were really convinced that we wanted to move the needle. So Rosewood Apartments is a 38-unit that went up on about 2.5 acres of land. We hope that it's phase 1 of phase 2. That's the way it was set up, is to do it in 2 phases. But one of the extraordinary things about that is once Kirk came in and started to build, it was interesting to see all of the ancillary building that went on around that, because there was that feeling that, okay, there really is a need here. And so we started to see a lot of other independents working on some projects. So this is not quite open yet, scheduled to open, I think, in March, but 38 units, it's starting to be rented out. And great question by you, but I think everyone in the community is proud of the building. You know, it's right in the center of town, so it's right behind the visitor center, so it's an easy access for you, but, one of the critical pieces for us as a development corporation is if we put up a building, how are we going to manage that? So that was something else that really was critical in this decision, and Kirk and his team actually will come in and manage it because, you know, we much like you all are a volunteer organization, and we start thinking about snow removal and rental. You know, nobody wants that job. So that was part of the struggle with finding someone to do that. So not only do they manage it, but it's extraordinary if you get to a place where you can see some of the actual units. They're very well done, 9-foot ceilings, wide hallways, big windows. So if we can't get it pulled up there, I encourage you to go out on the website.
Yeah, I'll go out and snoop around a little
Yeah,
bit.
go out and snoop around.
I
And
want to see the Facebook here, so.
it's our hope that in January, we've got an open house scheduled, so once we get that scheduled, we'd be happy to host you to come up and take a look at it and walk through it.
So I'm assuming, I don't know if you guys have any of your tip people